I've been seeing these weird dolls called labubus lately. I think everybody, has kind of been memeing on them, and I don't know what the fuck they are. I don't know what the fuck, like, what is this? Is it a demon? I don't get it. Labubu, it sounds like a demon. Like, what are these things? Why does, like, that's terrifying. Why does this exist? Why do people like these? I don't get it. Like, what's wrong with you people? Something wrong with you motherfuckers. Bunch of millennials buying labubus and shit. I fucking hate millennials. I don't know about you guys, but I hate millennials. They're the worst. The rise of labubu dolls. I don't know what the fuck a labubu is. I just know it's this terrifying creature. I can imagine this getting possessed like an Annabelle doll and attacking you in your sleep and killing you with a knife. I don't know how I would grab it though, but the knife would probably just float, and stab you. So I don't know. This seems demonic to me, but let's watch. Let's figure this out. Like, what the hell are labubus? Are they from some stupid show or something? I don't get it.
Is a labubu.
Someone said on that video that is
No.
what a French person calls an injury. Labubu. But seriously, what is a labubu? I mean, have you guys also started seeing
things
these
are creepy,
freaky
bro.
gremlin dolls everywhere? In stores, online, hanging from people's bags? These plush toy monsters that are popping up everywhere are called
Aren't they expensive too?
labubus, and I had no clue what they were until you guys started commenting about them in my recent video on the downfall of Stanley Cups. For some reason, I had read the word labubu in comment sections before, but I thought it was a type of dress that was sold at Lululemon. It wasn't until you guys started telling me to make a video about the rise of labubus that I finally Googled them and I saw this. Since then, I have had
creepy,
so many labubu videos pop up on my feed, including this one where people shared how much money they have spent on a single labubu doll. $130, $150 in a 3-hour drive, $325. As a reminder, this is how much folks are spending on
Why?
a single one of these dolls. So what gives?
Why?
Why are these weird little dolls suddenly everywhere? Especially when so many people who love labubus admit to thinking that they were really creepy at first.
They
I
are
say let's
creepy.
talk about it. Let's talk about what caused the insane rise of labubu dolls, the psychology behind our obsession with collecting trinkets like them, and whether labubus have any chance of really lasting in our culture that is obsessed with micro trends.
No. Also, I hate the world. I hate consumerism. I think capitalism's the only way to actually have a market work in the long run. But you people are too obsessed with little pathetic stupid items. You're swiping your credit cards, racking up tens of thousands of dollars in debt just for a little stupid labubu, just for a little creepy demon doll. I don't get it. I hate consumerism. I think it's stupid.
So let's start with the very rise of labubu dolls and how it happened. Also, before we even go there, what are these things? For those who don't know, labubu dolls are small collectible figures made by the Chinese toy company Pop Mart. They're part of a larger art toy universe and were designed by artist Kasing Lung, whose characters tend to lean into a mischievous, offbeat type, thus the nightmarish, toothy smile that these labubus have. And despite looking like an Ewok had a child with a Furby in the Smile cinematic universe,
Also, good for him, bro. You made some bread off this stupid shit, dude.
labubus have gained a massive following, especially among Gen Z. According to Wikipedia, the frenzy first kicked off after Lisa from the K-pop group Blackpink was spotted with a labubu keychain on her bag. The obsession has only grown from there. People are turning into labubu collectors, and like we
Grown men be collecting these things, dude? Are you kidding me?
just saw, people are down to spend hundreds of dollars on these monsters. There's limited edition ones, vintage ones, labubu blind boxes, and those are actually a critical part of the strategy. See, labubus have benefited from many of the same marketing tactics that made Stanley Cups go viral last year. Think of the limited edition drops that we saw with Stanley Cups, or that we've seen with brands that have been revived like Crocs. We now see the exact same thing happening with labubus. Why? Because it creates this feeling of scarcity. Like, you have to go out and buy more or you're gonna miss out. If you haven't already, watch my video on how FOMO culture keeps us poor to really dive deeper into that whole topic. And it's the same thing with blind boxes. Not knowing what's inside creates this sense of excitement. There's a psychology concept called variable reward systems, and
I've never understood collecting things. And that's all this is. It's just collecting this weird little doll that gives you a hit that gives you a hit of dopamine when you first get it. Yeah, it's kind of pathetic, to be honest with you. I think collecting any sort of cards is kind of gay too. There's something wrong with you people. You guys are sacrificing building wealth for a stupid little doll that you're gonna forget about in 6 months. Really?
The idea is that we get hooked to activities that provide us unpredictable rewards. When we don't know if our blind box is going to have that special labubu that we want, we are flooded with anticipation and desire. And when we open the box, we either get disappointment that feeds more into the desire, or we get this rush of pleasure for having the labubu that we want, and then it feeds right back into desire. This leads to many just buying more and more blind boxes so that they don't miss out on the item that they really want. Now we'll dive more.
If you're rich, fine, buy little stupid dolls. It doesn't really matter, I guess. But if you're sacrificing building wealth for a little stupid trendy doll at the time, then you're pathetic. You're stupid. You deserve to be poor. I don't feel bad for you people at all.
Into the psychology of collectibles as well, but it's important to realize that what's driving the labubu obsession right now is not new. It's not new, but it's certainly effective. Recently, it was reported that London's fashion retail scene was reselling certain labubus for $1,000.
Wow.
And the labubu rise has led to Pop Mart beating profit expectations and making $427 million in 2024, which seems like a ridiculous amount of money made by just selling monster dolls. But it's less surprising when you realize how many labubus people are buying. Armies of these expensive gremlins. And while of course people can spend where they want, it does strike me as really crazy to spend so much money on dolls that are likely going to be out of style, out of fashion in just a year. And then what? It's gonna be clutter.
400 for that?
It's gonna be trash.
Really?
There isn't a utility to labubus beyond being a labubu. Oh yeah? Says who? I, for one, love my labubu. Oh geez, it's my arch nemesis Hat Kara. It's the version of Kara who is awful at money and spends way too much on hats. And labubus now. I am a labubu gal. Of course you are. But come on, you have to admit that labubus don't have a real functional use. I mean, they're just a status item. Like when this craze is all done, what are you gonna do with all your labubus? Are you gonna...
People do this with everything. People will drain their whole bank account to get a newer car so they can flex on their peers. They're going to massive debt for a house they can't afford just to look good. I don't get it. I don't understand you people. This is why I like being a man on an island. I like living life solo. Because you people are obsessed with bullshit.
Stitch them up and sleep on them? You know what? Maybe I will, okay? Who's to say that 300 labubus all stitched together wouldn't make a very comfortable mattress? I think if you really wanted a comfortable mattress, you would go with something like Birch Living's mattress, which happens to be today's sponsor. Wait a second, did you just set me up for a brand segment? I did. 27, you can get 27 per video. All right, so we have a sense of how labubus got big in the first place and the psychology behind why their scarcity-driven marketing is so effective. But what about the psychology behind why people are obsessed with collectibles in the first place? I mean, this isn't the first time that we have seen a trend like labubus grip the public attention. We have seen Smiskies before, something I covered in my de-influencing your holiday wishlist video. We've seen Sunny Angels, which I don't like at all. They look really creepy to me. We've seen Jellycats and Squishmallows, and back in the day, we saw Beanie Baby collections running this world to the point where people were convinced that they were gonna outpace the stock market. People were feral about Beanie Babies, myself included. I was like 5, but I did have a lot of Beanie Babies. I think this history tells us two very important things about the labubu trend. One is that labubu...
It's weird to me. Grown people are collecting things that should be children's toys as a status symbol. I don't get it.
Whose relevancy is on a countdown. I cannot envision a world where these are a trend that ends up staying. I think that labubus will...
Listen, I understand people that collect Pokemon cards or baseball cards or football cards or whatever the fuck more, because those actually, you can get valuable ones and they, to some degree, retain value because people have been interested in these things for a long time. But some stupid trend like this, I don't get it. I don't get it. And a lot of people are sacrificing building wealth for this. They're going into debt to buy these little fucking creepy dolls.
fall the same way that so many hyper-consumerist microtrends fall, which is eventually becoming clutter and this weird meme that we look back on. And maybe those who spent thousands of dollars on labubus will flinch when they think about what that money could have been worth if they had like invested it instead. So that's one thing that we can learn from history. The other is that humans love collectibles. What is it about us that makes us so into accumulating matching trinkets and displaying them together? When I
Listen, bro, all I need in life is a computer, a couple webcams, a microphone, my blicky. That's it. And a bed. I need a bed, too. I like having a bed. I don't understand collectibles at all, bro. I've never been into anything like that. I just think it's stupid, bro. Honestly.
Researched this topic, I came across multiple publications drawing a very clear distinction between collecting and hoarding. Because on the surface, collecting could look something like hoarding, but the two are different. As this paper explains, collecting is a widespread normative human activity. The key difference is how symbolism plays into a collector's mindset. Collectors feel like the items that they are collecting somehow symbolize qualities about them. It might be cuteness, joy, a sense of humor, innocence, playfulness, or it could be ruggedness, cleverness, worldliness, a symbol to show that you're intelligent and you have depth. For labubus, here is my read on what people are subliminally trying to express about themselves when they...
That's where you have to give marketers some props. They have managed to make people think that collecting little stupid items that won't matter a year from now is more important than building wealth because it makes you seem sophisticated, intelligent, somebody who's unique and special because you have this specific item. It's pathetic, but good job. Good job to them, I guess.
I have one. Looking at a labubu, there's this contrast that's going on, right? Ignore the face and you have this cuddly, adorable figure with cute clothes. Add the face in, and now you're looking at something a little more off-putting. It's mischievous, surprising, it has a slight edge to it. So think about what that ends up communicating. If you're collecting labubus and therefore they're meant to represent a certain part of who you are, what are you trying to message? I think it's that, hey, I'm a cute person. I can look adorable and fashionable and tiny, but I'm not just cute. I've got a surprising side of me that is a little weird, a little rebellious, that doesn't play into all the cutesy norms. If we look back at Lisa from Blackpink, who helped kickstart this whole trend, her Vanity Fair video talking about labubus shows a lot of this same characterization. She looks glamorous and cute and yet has a unique and quirky side to her. What I'm getting at is that we use trinkets and collectibles as a way to express ourselves to others, and by doing so we can also try to find some sense of community. Something that I found really interesting about the labubu trend is this sense of if you know type language used in the community. Like the differences between a labubu and a lafufu, which is the term for a fake labubu, it creates this language within a subculture that, if you know the language, you feel this deeper sense of belonging. I think that's why people also start getting more attached to these monster dolls.
I don't get why people get so caught up in meaningless, pointless bullshit. I don't get it. Honestly, I guess you could say that about video games too. I like video games. Maybe that's my meaningless, pathetic hobby. I mean, fair enough, I guess, but fucking labubus, bro? Labubus? You're spending thousands of dollars on labubus, bro. What are you doing?
Once they're familiar with the lore, you feel like you're part of a community with its own set of references and inside jokes that no one else can understand. The last force that I think is helping fuel the labubu craze is, interestingly, an economic one. There's this economic idea called the lipstick effect, and this refers to the phenomenon where during...
Here's the funny thing. Gen Z complain about never being able to afford a house or build wealth, but then they go and buy a bunch of labubus. Like, what are you doing?
Economic downturns or times of financial uncertainty, people spend on small luxuries that make them feel good. Instead of splurging on big ticket items like vacations or designer bags, they'll opt for more affordable indulgences like a $15 lipstick or perhaps a $50 blind box toy. Labubus hit that sweet spot. They're quirky, collectible, and they feel like a treat, but they don't necessarily break the bank. At least, like, unless you buy, an army of them the way that some people do. Right now, the world is facing a whole lot of economic uncertainty. In my video breaking down the tariffs chaos, I talk about...
Seems like everything's fine. The S&P's up like 8% this year so far. That's not bad.
About how prices are on
Imagine if you put that labubu money in the market.
the rise and there's a potential recession looming, meaning that many people are looking to cut back on their spending. So during a time when people are looking to cut costs, labubus seem like this accessible way to feel joy, participate in a trend, and express identity through consumption. What I worry about though is that, just like we talked about before, I don't think this trend is going to last. I feel like this moment of the labubu craze is really just one moment amongst many in this larger arc of rotating micro trends and collectibles. Yes, buying yourself a little luxury and expressing yourself through a product, it's not the end of the world by any means. But stretching your budget or over-consuming in the name of something like the labubu trend doesn't ultimately feel worth it. Before we start participating in trends like the rise of labubus, it's worth asking ourselves, what are we trying to communicate through those viral items? And is there perhaps a more productive, more real way we can channel our identity or desire for belonging? But what do you guys think? Are you into the labubu trend, or do you know someone who is? And if so, what do you think about this rise of labubus and their potential downfall? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and what topics you want to see me cover next. If you like this video, check out my video on the downfall of Stanley Cups that I recently posted. That is where the idea
Good video, I guess, but dude, I don't understand you people. You people are fucking weird. People need to feel like they belong, like they matter, and so they buy a little stupid doll. I don't get it. Why don't you just do something cool?